Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I just kind of want to do it as a bit of a chat about Patreon and the future of things with my handmade watercolours. So if you didn't know, I've been doing Patreon for nearly a year now. Actually, I think it's been over a year. I think I had my Patreon anniversary recently, and I kind of want to talk about getting that a bit more popular. I'm going to try and change the way that I do tiers, and I kind of want your guys' suggestions and help on what to do with them and what you guys want. Do you guys want different tiers? Do you want different prices? And what would you want in what tier? Like, for example, I think at the minute I have the $10 tier as with discounts and first access to my watercolours, my handmade watercolours. Then I have a $5 tier which gives you a bit more access, such as polls and things which no one's ever joined. And then I have my $1 tier which just gains you access to my Patreon feed, which I think has about 7 Patreons on it. So obviously I'm very grateful to those who are signed up to it. I'm going to talk about some of the ideas that I've got already. So what I'm thinking of doing is, for a $10 tier, I'm thinking of having every other month like a care package. So in this care package, just a few bits and pieces, from watercolour supplies to things like maybe tea, chocolate going with it. And these watercolour supplies could be anything from art prints to a personal, like a quick sketch, or dot cards, either of my handmade paints or some commercial brands. Because I know that I do have some commercial brands of paint that aren't so common out there, such as the Old Holland, Rembrandt, and the Isero line. I have a few of those, which not many people do. But do let me know if you want to see more things. Would you like to see a tier that's a bit like Otto's tier, where you can have access to dot cards every month, like comparing different brands? So like I did when I did the Pigment Playtime episodes. Would you like maybe a dot card for each Pigment Playtime episode put out, going each month? So for example, like month 1 doing the warm yellows, month 2 blues, and so on and so forth. Would you like something like that, which would be a little bit more expensive, probably around the $15 to $20 mark, because it's quite a lot of work involved? Would you like tutorials maybe? Would you like a tier where I do tutorials? Maybe add that onto the $5 tier. Would you like to see an expensive tier where I did a commission? Or would you like to see a kind of a middle tier, maybe again like a $15 tier where you get a print every month? You know, if anything that you guys would like to see or happen, I'm really open to suggestion with it. I'm open to hearing what you guys have to say. You guys are hopefully going to be the ones that are supporting me through it, and obviously hopefully signing up to it, which I'd be grateful for. So it'd be good to know what you would sign up for and what you would pay for. Is kind of where the middle ground needs to be, and what I need to find is what do people want and what are people happy to pay for. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm quite new to it and quite unsure what to do with it. I am going to try and focus more on it and put more blog posts out, which are obviously the $1 tier. That one will probably pretty much stay the same. I'll always offer the kind of blog style post for $1 tiers. I may be changing the way I do $10 tiers, which we're going to talk about in a second, and which we're going to move on to. So yeah, I'm really interested to hear what you think about Patreon and what you sign up to. What do you currently sign up to with other people who have Patreon pages? What makes you sign up to theirs? And would you consider signing up to mine for? I know, of course, it's not for everybody, and not everybody can have the affordability and the money around to sign up to Patreon tiers. So I'm always grateful when anybody signs up to my Patreon, no matter how much they're pledging. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave that with you guys, some ideas, and I'm going to also do some thinking of my own, and we'll see what can happen. But moving on, I'm going to talk now about my handmade watercolours. I of course got a shop update coming soon. It might already be released by the time this video goes live. And I want to talk about the way that I'm doing pre-orders for that. So when I mean pre-orders, people who can order paints before release date, or special custom orders. Currently I only offer it on my Patreon for $10 tier people. I used to, when I very first started making handmade paint, had it open to everybody and every paint. And people of course ordered the rarer paints such as the manganese blue, quinacridone gold, rare mineral paints, like I've had Vivianite on there, for example, and people ordered those to start with, and I allowed them to. But as I've gotten more busier and my shop is, thankfully and very grateful for it being so, becoming popular, that has caused some problems. I remember I started to do as I always did, accepted orders for the rarer paints and pigments, and while communicating with people about the pre-order, those colours sold out. So say, for example, I think I got like one week I got like 5 emails from people, 5 different people wanting to order manganese blue. Once I told them, I went back to them all, told them the price and when it would be available, etc. And by the time 2 people came back to me, they had bought, between the 2 of them, they had bought all the manganese blue. So I then had to go back to the remaining 3 people, very red-faced, and apologise that there wasn't any available. And I don't want to run into that again, as it's not very fair, because there's none available for when it hits the shop. It's already sold out, and some people don't know that they can just email and pre-order at that time. I then moved on to accepting orders, but not including the rare pigments. So I would accept an order for any of the other paints, but things like manganese blue, some of the mineral ones, and Quinn Gold, I didn't allow them to pre-order, which worked okay. I then came up with doing it through Patreon, because I thought, at least through Patreon, they are paying for the privilege, so people who miss out on it can't complain too much because they're not signed up for that privilege and for that perk. So that was a perk for them. And I still do get emails of people asking me, do you do pre-orders and things? And because I do Patreon, and this is a Patreon reward, I don't actually either respond to those emails or I respond saying no, because I've already got a system set up for it. And I'm kind of questioning it lately because the $10 tier hasn't really been very successful. It's kind of been, I tend to have people sign up for a month, place their order, and then not bother, or drop down, or completely sign off my Patreon page, which is fine. There, for people are free to do that. I don't expect people to be continuous. It's a lot of money a month, and I don't do shop updates that regularly, which I am trying to work on doing some more. But I want to find a middle ground. So I'm really interested as well to hear your thoughts on this. What way do you think I should go about doing it? Of course, this is going to depend on what my Patreon tiers will eventually be. I will probably still offer it as a Patreon reward, as getting first dibs on it, but I also want to look at a way of doing it fairly for everybody else as well. I can either continue as I'm doing and no pre-orders. I can go back on to the way of doing it where I do orders but have a blanket ban on the rarer paints and pigments. Or another method I was thinking of doing is adding a charge for any kind of order or pre-order or special order before release date. This wouldn't be a big charge, but it'd be sort of £2-3 per order to pre-order paints, because it is obviously pigments that do sell out very quickly. Manganese blues sells out within a day or 2 of me putting it in the store. Sometimes before then, it does go extremely quickly. Same with Quinacridone Gold, it usually sells out within hours, and obviously not everybody, depending on time zone, can get there in time. I do appreciate that. But I want to come up with a solution that's fair for everybody. And so far I'm finding with each solution that there are some unfair things happening with it, and it's hard to avoid. So I am interested to hear what ideas are. If you do buy my paints, what would you like to see? Would you like to see, again, a surcharge just for an order, cheap, so not expect, get my words up, not exactly a large amount of money for a charge, literally £2 or £3 for the order? Or would you like to see it continuing on Patreon, or do you want it open as a free for all and have it all manganese blue go and all the other pigments go quickly? Or do you want me to blanket ban it, or any other ideas you've got that I'm obviously very open to listening to? But yeah, I just thought I would do this sort of quick video, finding out what people want and how to move forward with continuing my channel and my web store, of course. I am working on doing a Redbubble or Society 6 page. I think I do have a Redbubble. I will leave a link down to it below. There's not very many designers in there. I think there's like 2 or 3 at the moment. I'm going to try and build that up slowly. It's kind of a bit difficult because Redbubble designs aren't necessarily artwork. If you're going to do artwork, like my botanical paintings, it's a bit harder, mostly limited to prints, whereas Redbubble artwork is kind of the cute kind of hip illustration artwork, so things like cats, hamsters, or kind of obscure illustrations, which is great, which is fine, they work, but obviously I have to make art catering to it specifically rather than just with my art already and uploading it. But we will see what happens with that. Or would you like to see more prints maybe in my web store that I sell on my website? Would you like to maybe see different sizes? I have got some prints up there at the minute. I think they're in A4 size. I can look at doing some smaller sizes if people would prefer a sort of postcard sort of size. So half an A4 page. Just for reference, this is an A4 page paper, so this is what I've currently got the size in my web store of one print. So half that would be about that. Is about half an A4 size. So I can do prints that size if I need to. I really am open to suggestions with this, guys. I'm just kind of brainstorming at the minute, and of course would like your input, as you guys are my very valued customers, and I really appreciate the support you've given me and hopefully will continue to give throughout. It's been great doing this, and as well, I'm very nearly at 1,000 subscribers. I'm very close to it. I think I'm literally about 60 subscribers off from being 1,000, so that's really exciting. I will of course be doing a giveaway when I hit 1,000 subscribers, celebrating, so I look forward to doing that. And I will leave, as I said, don't know if I said, but I will leave a link down in the description bar down below to where you can find all of my pages, so my web store, my Patreon, Redbubble, etc. if you guys did want to check that out. So yeah, please do let me know down in the comments any thoughts or ideas you have regarding either Patreon or orders for my web store. This is a good chance for you guys to voice your opinions and thoughts on it. Even if you don't, please do say if you don't like the idea of Patreon. I won't be offended, honestly. Just please do, you're free to say it or give any opinion that you want. I'm not going to be offended. So yeah, I really hope those of you who this is going to be of interest to find it interesting and helpful, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care everybody, and bye bye.